All right, early birds, we will start Happy New Year in about 40 seconds. Good evening and Happy New Year. Those of you who are on the Gregorian calendar or the corporate calendar, whatever you want to call it. This is the Tibet Center, Kunchab Tar Duling, a Buddhist meditation and study center located in New York City and northern New Jersey. And this is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma, specifically Stages on the Path to Enlightenment, the great LamRim Shenro of Lama Tsong-kha-pa. If you have any problems with the sound, the picture, etc., please text me or Mr. Smith. All the prayers that we say are on the Tibet Center website, tibetcenter.org. In the FAQ section, scroll down to prayers. If there's anyone for whom you want us to pray for who has passed away recently or not so recently, whatever, put their names in the chat box. I don't see all the names, so if I don't get them, I have a tiny chat box there, so what can I tell you? Anyway, we have a lot to do tonight, as usual. We won't waste our time. We start with prayer for the spread of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West, for all the people living here, together with their near ones who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas, called profound illumination, and at the same time noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form, emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Para Gate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. Refuge and Bodhisattva vow, which we say 3 times, recite 3 times, whatever you prefer. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. May all the pains of living creatures ripen solely upon myself, and through the might of the Bodhisattva Sangha, may all beings experience happiness. May the teachings which are the sole medicine for suffering and the origin of every joy be materially supported and honored and abide for a very long time. I prostrate to Manjughosha, through whose kindness wholesome minds ensue, and I prostrate to my spiritual masters, through whose kindness I develop. As a cause for the swift return of Rato Chungla Rinpoche, we read His Holiness's prayer. Prayer for the swift return. Exalted wisdom of all victors, gathered in a drop, soul refuge manifest in the form of one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lozang Tubuang Doje Chang, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of Victor Lozang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guest in unsurpassed great awakening, yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence's end to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta, drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel, return as the glory of Lozang Tenpe. Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayam, and Sri Mata Devi, in the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. Can't happen soon enough. Okay. So everyone likes to hear about Milarepa, the poems, etc. But our staff has gone back into the past, and we uncovered his life before he became enlightened. Yeah. Our big, voluminous staff, etc. and so forth. No. This is a book called The Life of Milarepa. This is an old copy. It has a new cover now. It's the same thing, written by Lozang P. Lang Lungpa. I looked it up on Amazon. You can get it around for $30 now in paperback form. It's the same thing, Lozang Phunsak La Lungpa. I was fortunate enough to meet him because Rinpoche invited him to Tibet, I think 77 or 78, and he gave a brief talk, but he was just mostly, everyone clustered around. I didn't get to talk to him at all. I I was new then, so I just paid attention and helped with serving the beverage. But it's a treasure. He's a practitioner. He knows what he's talking about. He's well schooled. And even though this particular text is 45 years old or so, it's very accurate, reads very well. So we'll skip into it's a whole biography of his. The fourth chapter is called Meditation, and this is on page 76 of this particular text. I don't know how the new one paginates. So Rechung is then asking, Rechung, one of Milarepa's students, Tsong-kha-pa, everyone gets the last name Repa. Cotton clad, of cotton, Ray is cotton. Ray Pa? I think so, no. I think so. Yeah, Ray. Pei Ray is a pecha, cotton cover for a pecha. So, all right, that's silliness. So Rechung was asking him about his life, asking Milarepa, and Rechung then said, Master, after hearing the doctrine, did you immediately go into solitude or did you remain with the Lama? And Mila continued. This is prose. He breaks into poetry at times. The Lama told me, meaning Lama Marpa, his Lama, the Lama told me to meditate with perseverance. He provided me with ample supplies and directed me to meditate in a cave called Tiger Nak at the southern cliffs. Then I filled an altar lamp with butter, lit it, and placed it on my head. I meditated day and night in this way without moving until the butter in the lamp was exhausted. Please do not try this at home. We have LEDs now. You get the idea. 11 months passed. Then the Lama and his wife came, bringing me food for a ritual feast. The Lama exclaimed, well, my son, to meditate for 11 months without letting your cushion get cold is excellent. He's unusual. Open the entrance to your cell and come home for a rest so that you may talk with me, your old father, about your inner experiences, spiritual father. So I thought to myself, Milarepa said, it has been peaceful here, but I must go out since it's in an order given by the Lama. I began breaking down the entrance. I had hardly begun when I stopped for a moment, not daring to continue further. Just then the Lama's wife returned and asked, are you coming, my son? This is Doc Mema. She's also realized being. Are you coming, my son? I replied that I dare not break down the wall. The mother said, there is nothing wrong. Such an auspicious event at this meeting with the Lama can only have good result. It is a law of the secret path. Refusing would anger him and spoil the auspicious event. So break open the entrance and come out. Mr. Gorbachev, break down the wall. Mr. Repa, Knowing that the mother spoke the truth, I tore down the wall and came out. The Lama said, we too, father and son, will meditate together. Mistress, prepare a feast. As we were making the offering, the Lama said to me, my son, what definite knowledge have you reaped from my special instructions? Let your mind relax and tell me what perceptive and intuitive experiences and understanding you have achieved. In an act of faith and ardent veneration toward the Lama, I knelt down and joined the palms of my hands, my eyes blurred with tears. I paid homage to him for all that I had understood, and I sang this song of the sevenfold devotions, seven limbs of puja, the Gaden Laja or Gaden Lajema, however you call it. All these elements are there, requesting to teach, remain long, etc., confession, offering. So here is Milarepa's poetic presentation. O Master, who to the eyes of impure seekers appears in different forms, and to the assembly of pure bodhisattvas manifest as Sambhogakaya Buddha, I salute you. I realize being appears in the glorious form to those who can see that, otherwise appears normally, like an ordinary walking around person, to those who don't have that perceptive ability but need to be trained. Great compassion. Sounding the 60 tones of celestial Brahma, 60 qualities of a Buddha's speech, one of which is no matter what language you speak, you will understand what he says. And you will understand it in the manner that's suitable for you. Sounding the 60 tones of celestial Brahma, you spoke about the sacred teaching in its 84,000 aspects. That's a common taxonomy, as they call it, or classification. which was understood by people each in their own language, I prostrate myself before your speech, which is inseparable from its innate emptiness. In the clear and lucid space of Dharmakaya, there is no defilement or discrimination, yet it encompasses all knowledge. I salute the mind of the immutable Dharmakaya. Dwelling in the palace of pure emptiness, immutable Dakmema, with the body illusory, you are the mother who bears the Buddhas of the three ages, past, present, and future. Dakmema, I prostrate myself at your feet. He prostrates to Marpa and to Marpa's wife, consort, whatever you want to call it. Master, with unfeigned respect, I salute your spiritual sons whom you have united, and the disciples who carry out your commandments, and the multitude of your followers. I offer my body to you and whatever else is worthy of sacrifice in all the realms of the universe. I repent all my sins one by one. I delight in the virtuous deeds of others. I implore you to turn the wheel of law far and wide. I pray that the supremely perfect lamas may live so long as there are sentient beings enmeshed with samsara. May my spiritual merits benefit all sentient beings. Classic Seven Limbs of Puja, but let's not get technical. Page 78. Having begun in this manner with the Song of the Sevenfold Devotions, I, your humble follower, wish to express my feeble understanding, made possible by the perfect action and power of the spiritual influence arising from the boundless compassion of the Lama, who is inseparable from Buddha Vajradhara, together with the mother and son and the deep gratitude I owe them. Polite, devotional. Please listen to me out of the unchanging state of your mind. I have understood that this material body made of flesh and blood, along with mental consciousness, is gathered together by the 12 chains of cause and effect, one of which is volition or intention or karma. So the second link of the 12 links, first ignorance, so one of which is volition, originating from ignorance. This body is the blessed vessel for those who are fortunate beings who wish for freedom, but it also leads sinners into the lower realms. So it's a wonderful vehicle depending on how you use it. Excuse me, I have to hit some cold brew coffee, so I'm a little more lucid. Pardon me. Trader Joe's delight. What he's doing now is a basic whole path in a page and a half. So this is not just a biography, it's a teaching vehicle. They're always teaching. I understand that in this body lies the vital choice between enormous profit and loss, relating to eternal happiness or misery on the border between good and evil. Relying upon your power of compassion as the venerable guide of sentient beings, I am hopefully endeavoring to achieve liberation from the ocean of existential bondage, from which escape is very difficult. Having first sought refuge in the Three Jewels, and having scrupulously observed the precepts, I understand that the source of all happiness is the Lama, and therefore the first principle is to fulfill all his instructions and maintain, unblemished, a spiritual bond with him. The pronouns are masculine, but I'll sometimes slip in something neutral or both. But that's the way the text reads. Furthermore, the next paragraph, a fortunate human existence is a state difficult to acquire. By arousing the mind with great intensity regarding impermanence and death, the consequences of action, and the pain of samsara, one develops a longing for liberation and must pursue it through the observance of moral precepts. Such is the foundation upon which one must build. From this point, progressively ascending the path, it is necessary to observe one's vows as carefully as one guards one's eyes. Even in failure, remedies must be employed. You're going to fail. That's why they invent confessions. So don't worry. That's the way it works. By not seeking one's own liberation on the path of the lesser vehicle, one develops bodhicitta, quote, enlightened mind, which seeks to work toward the liberation of all sentient beings. It is my understanding that the development of an enlightened attitude leads one to rededicate for the good of all the fruit of one's actions born of love and compassion. In order to embrace the path of the greater vehicle, one abandons the path of the lesser vehicle. Based upon the foundation of perfect seeing, he enters the supreme path of Vajrayana. She enters, he enters. Anyway, okay. In order to achieve perfect seeing, one needs a perfect master who knows how to transmit fully and unerringly the four aspects of initiation. We won't get into that technical part, very secret. That's beyond the scope, but you can look it up. The four aspects of initiation and skillfully explain the hidden meaning with compassion. At the point of the Vajrayana, you need a teacher, personal, one-to-one. That's the idea. Before that, there's the guru of the text. There's the guru of your inner understanding. And then now you need the external guru and it's someone for whom you have a close relationship, a bond, better than that, a bond. Initiation awakens one to ultimate reality, and from then onward one meditates through all the various stages of the path. Having endeavored to discover the non-selfhood of personality, which is common to all exoteric traditions, one examines the self by means of logic, the teaching and analogies, and so examine it by logic, examine the teaching, examine the analogies, and not finding the self, one understands selflessness. Again, you're looking for the inherently existent self, you don't find it, you understand selflessness. One must then bring the mind into a quiet state. When the mind is calm by means of such reasoning, discriminating thought ceases and mind reaches a non-conceptual state. If one continues in this state for days, months, and years, so oblivious to the passing of time that one needs to be reminded of it by others, one has then achieved tranquility of mind. Not in the trance all the time, but that's what you're carrying with you in the background all the time. People like him, it's different. They go in a cave, they sit there 8 months, they come out. Not us. It's a different world. But this is the blueprint. We can do it in another way. But he's giving you the whole path all the way through Tantra. This state of tranquility is maintained by means of continued attention and awareness, not allowing it to become distracted or to sink into passivity or laxity. That's his word for this. Intensified by the force of awareness, one experiences pure consciousness without differentiation, naked, vivid, and crisp. These are the characteristics of tranquility of mind, shamatha. Pure consciousness may be regarded as a flash of perfect insight. Individuals do not actually experience it until they reach the first stage of enlightenment. At this stage, one meditates, visualizing the forms of the Yiram, the personal deity. It's the tantric path. They use personal deities. In so doing, one may experience visions and forms, but these are devoid of substance and are merely products of meditation. To sum up, first, a vivid state of mental tranquility and a sustaining energy together with a discerning intellect are indispensable requirements for attaining perfect insight. They are like the first steps of a staircase. Second, all meditation, with or without form, must begin from deeply aroused compassion and love. Amen. That's it. Backlit or powered by, etc. Deep compassion and love, whatever word you want to use. Whatever one does must emerge from a loving attitude for the benefit of others. Or you're just on the lesser path and you're not going to full Buddhahood. You're not attaining omniscience. So it's two essentials, the realization of the reality and great compassion, bodhicitta. Third, through perfect seeing, all discrimination is dissolved into a non-conceptual state. Finally, we're on page 80. With an awareness of the void, one sincerely dedicates the results for the benefit of others. I have understood this to be the best of all ways. Just as a starving man cannot be fed by the knowledge of food but needs to eat, so too one needs to experience in meditation the meaning of emptiness. Big point, as we all big. I understand more particularly that in order to arrive at perfect insight, it is necessary to practice meritorious deeds and self-purification without respite in the intervals between meditations. You must do the method aspect of the path to empower the emptiness meditation. It's a, what's the word? Holistic approach. Yeah. In short, I saw that this meditator's understanding of the emptiness of things, of their unity, of their indefinability, and of the non-differentiation corresponds to the four aspects of initiation according to Vajrayana. Technical, maybe we'll get to that a little later, maybe not. I'm not qualified to talk about it. I could read it though. In order to make this knowledge manifest in myself, I subdued my body, deprived it of food, harnessed my mind, and achieved equanimity in the face of all circumstances, including the danger of death. He can do this. He's not starving like we would starve because he has the ability to live on a little bit of food, etc. The mortification of the flesh is no. It's no good. We need this body to empower the mind. So that's a big topic, and best to discuss it with a realized teacher. I have not come before the Lama and the mistress, my father and mother of unsurpassable goodness, to repay them with services and riches. But I offer the best I shall be capable of attaining in my practice of meditation as long as I live, and I ask them to accept the ultimate understanding that I shall attain in the palace of Ugmen. Pure place. I don't know what Ugmen is technically. I won't hazard a guess. There's no quote. And then he breaks into song or poetry, whatever we prefer. Great Lama, who is the Buddha Vajradhara, Mother Dakmema, bearer of Buddhas, and you sons of the victorious ones, inviting you to listen to these few words, born of understanding and true perception in my mind, I beg you to bear with patience my faults, my ignorance, my wrong understanding, and my errors. Please correct them according to the Dharma. Under the blessing of the burning rays descending from the sun of your compassion, the lotus of my mind has opened. With this perfume emanating from experience and possessing nothing equal to my gratitude, to you I render perpetual homage. May the fruits of my meditation be profitable for all beings. In striving towards the limits of perfection, I beg you, listen to the voice of your disciple who dares to beseech you. Thus I spoke. Then the Lama said, my son, I had great hope, and my hope has been realized. And he was filled with joy. The mother said, this son of mine has the strength of mind for great achievement. After many religious talks, the father and mother returned to their house. As for me, I walled up the entrance to my cell and meditated. That's his little encounter. A little bit more will do, all right? You don't mind? You do mind. Oh, bad. This is a bit of from page Roman numeral 12, XII. A little bit of the introduction by the writing of Losang Laklongpa, who knows what he's talking about. It's so good and so informative. I'll just give a little piece of it because we have to move on to finish the 9th chapter tonight. Page Roman numeral 12. The Vajrayana training is a process of psychological transformation that begins with the conscious cultivation of goodness in thoughts, words, and deeds. The Tantric path, Vajrayana training, whatever. From the outset, one works to free oneself from all superstitious complexes of superiority or inferiority based on sex, race, color, or creed. A deeper sense of one human family and universal fellowship is to be developed as the foundation of right attitude and sound human relationships. Only then is one led toward a higher process of spiritualization. In order to discover the non-deceptive identity of humans, every individual is encouraged to free him or herself from the solid and strong influence of his or her conditioning. We're going against billions of years of conditioning. We are eternal. We've been around all the time. Minds, not bodies. This psychological reorientation, which is the basic aim of all true culture, embraces the totality of factors and forces that go to make up an individual's whole stream of being and his or her attitude towards life. Without this preparatory development of a sound and sane basic attitude towards the goals of living, the whole spiritual endeavor is susceptible to egotistic self-love, amen, as distinguished from a practical concern for one's permanent freedom. For inevitably, consciousness that has achieved an exalted level must needs be further developed into an effective instrument for the process of universal emancipation of all human beings. You have to further develop it to full Buddhahood to help universal. That's how he said it all. Like the doctrine itself, the teacher is a means and not an end. The meaning of the term in Tibetan, Yongzin, a synonym for teacher, suggests that he or she is one who holds others from falling into an abyss of inner delusion and destructive karma. Yet the term teacher does not always mean a human being. This is interesting. Milarepa speaks of three types of lamas. First, an external lama who shows the way through linguistic symbols. Second, the inner lama, one's own power of understanding the teaching. And third, the inmost lama, one's own inmost awareness. Now remember, the surface mind thinks this, but underneath, the inmost awareness has to be brought. The external lama could be texts and everything, whatever comes in through the senses and is then recognized by the mind. So all of this is indicated by the word lama. The syllable la means transcendent wisdom. Ma refers to motherly love and compassion. These two aspects are united in ultimate awareness, or deeper awareness. Milarepa looked upon Marpa as the true embodiment of enlightenment and as the irreplaceable means for the development of his own supreme understanding, through which Milarepa realized the inmost Lama in himself. We must remember that before his realization on the Marpa, three teachers failed in guiding Milarepa in the path. The first teacher, Rongtong Laga, failed by giving his pupil teachings that were too advanced for him. The second teacher was Dakmema, Marpa's wife, who gave Milarepa the higher teachings of Mahamudra, also without demanding inadequate preparation. The third was Lama Ngokpa, one of Marpa's own chief disciples, to whom he was sent by Dakmema during the culmination of his ordeals and without the approval of Marpa. The essence of Mahayana Buddhism can best be seen in one single term, bodhicitta. I like the way he explains it, which we have usually translated as enlightened mind. It is customarily understood by scholars as both an attitude and a state of awareness, each of which is both a means to the ultimate goal and a discipline of the ultimate goal itself. Here, attitude involves a certain quality of action, an intention which a person must bring to bear upon his or her practice of meditation and outward magnanimity. That attitude holds, as you're meditating, the motivation, the purpose to help others, and the actions, outward magnanimity. Magnanimity, that's it. So the underlying stream of motivation is always bodhicitta, 24/7. Once it's developed, uncontrived bodhicitta. You're really cooking then. Only then can, and bodhicitta, by the way, easy to understand and harder than emptiness to realize, so they say. Since I didn't realize either of them, I don't know. But that's what they say. Oh yeah, I know bodhicitta. Yeah. Is it running constantly in your mind? Is every action you do thinking of others, removing suffering? Only you know. Only then can this inner and outer practice lead to the achievement of the enlightened state of awareness. At the same time, it is only through such awareness that one may see beyond the apparent contradictoriness of phenomena and perceive things as they really are, while radiating continuously the warmth of compassion. Love that phrase. Thus, at all stages of the path, the work of purifying the emotions is inseparable from the effort towards greater consciousness and clearer perception. The mind and heart must develop harmoniously, which is the theme of our t-shirt. We'll end it there because the time is a factor, but I'll mark the page so we find it next class. I don't know, you like his way of presentation? I wish I could have spoken to him and asked him questions, but I didn't know enough to even ask. So, a very distinguished gentleman, very powerful, a secular person, not a lay person, not a monk. Maybe he was at one time, but very poised. He was the kind of guy that has what they would call charisma. A Greek word, charisma. Oh. LamRim Chenmo. What we'll do is, what I'll do rather is read directly from the LamRim first. This is page 122, volume 3, chapter 9. Thus have I heard 4,000 times. They're talking about the difference between understanding the emptiness of the self and emptiness of phenomena. I'll read this somewhat, but then we'll go right to Geshe Sopa's commentary because it's a little more lucid for our age. Same thing, but Geshe Sopa fills in things that we might miss as we scan through this root text. Page 120. Thus, Chandrakirti says that when you know that the self lacks intrinsic nature, you also know that the self's aggregates lack self. That is to say, they lack intrinsic nature. The aggregates are phenomena. The sense of self and is the sense of the person. The aggregates are the sense of phenomena. Just that. So the aggregates are the elements of your mind and body, and everything in the world. The outer forms are part of the aggregates. So phenomena versus person, you can put it that way. Chandrakirti's explanation of the Middle Way commentary, Madhyamaka Vatara Baisha, says, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas following the Hinayana tenets are inaccurate because they apprehend an essence in things such as form. Therefore, they do not know even the selflessness of persons. Their tenets, what they practice is something else. They may belong to this or that school and profess certain tenets, but inwardly they have the real realization. Otherwise, they wouldn't have reached arhatship. This is because they hold conceptions of the aggregates. The basis of all is designated as a self. Conceptions of the aggregates, the basis that is designated as a self. And Nagarjuna says, as long as you conceive of the aggregates, you will conceive of them as I. The aggregates inherently exist, of course, and I here own these aggregates, and that's what happened. So that's the Ratnavali, Precious Garland. Thus he says that if you do not know that the aggregates lack intrinsic nature, you do not know the selflessness of the person. Question, qualm. If the same awareness that knows that the person lacks intrinsic existence also knows that the aggregates lack intrinsic existence, then there's a fallacy. So there. The two awarenesses that know the two types of selflessness would be the same. However, since the objects and persons are distinct, the awareness that knows that they lack intrinsic existence is also distinct. As in the case of the awarenesses that know the impermanence of a pot and that of a pillar. All right. If the awareness that knows that the person lacks intrinsic existence does not know that the aggregates lack intrinsic existence, then how can Chandrakirti claim that one will know that the aggregates lack intrinsic existence when one knows the selflessness of the person? Can you handle that? We'll do a little bit more, and then we'll go right to Geshe Sopa's comment. He'll do the whole thing a little more spatially. Reply. Since we do not assert this, the first question, I will answer your final question. The awareness that knows that the person lacks intrinsic existence does not think the aggregates do not intrinsically exist. However, without relying on anything else, that very awareness can induce certain knowledge. This is simple to understand. That the aggregates lack intrinsic existence, thereby eliminating the reification of intrinsic existence that has been superimposed upon the aggregates. Therefore, Chandrakirti says that when you know that the person lacks intrinsic existence, you also know that the aggregates lack intrinsic existence. And then he quotes Buddhapalada's commentary, Buddhapalada's Mula Madhyamaka Vriti. What the so-called self possesses is called that which belongs to the self. That self does not exist. If it doesn't exist, how can it be right to speak of what belongs to it? Let's bring in the son of a barren woman, which they're going to do. That poor guy gets a lot of grief. Good thing he doesn't exist. So I'm going to go right to Geshe Sopa. He's talking about the same thing. This is Geshe Sopa's LamRim Chemo, Volume 5, page 64. As long as you hold phenomena to be inherently existent, you cannot realize the selflessness of the person. He says that right away after Nagarjuna's quote. When there's grasping at the aggregates, then there's grasping at me. That's how he translated. And Geshe Sopa says, as long as you hold phenomena to be inherently existent, you cannot realize the selflessness of the person. Right? Strange tough thing. In other words, if you do not understand the emptiness of inherent existence of the aggregates, you will not understand the emptiness of inherent existence of the person. Yet we're told to meditate on emptiness of the person first. They'll probably sort it out. I have confidence. Geshe Sopa continues on page 64. Someone suggests there may be a problem with saying that anyone who understands the selflessness of person must thereby understand the selflessness of phenomena, and anyone who grasps at a self of phenomena cannot understand the selflessness of person. That same question. For does the same mind that realizes the selflessness of persons also realize the non-inherent existence of the aggregates? If that is the case, then the mind realizing the selflessness of persons and the mind realizing the selflessness of phenomena must be one and the same, and this is a problem. They can't be the same because there's two different things. So I'll skip down some of the verbiage here. And Geshe Soba cuts to the chase. There are actually two questions here, he says. The first is, does the mind that understands the selflessness of person also understand the selflessness of phenomena? The second question is, if that's not the case, then how can you say that when a yogi realizes the selflessness of person, he or she realizes the selflessness of phenomena? Tsong-kha-pa says he does not assert the position expressed in the first question, so he will not address it. Good. In answer to the second question, Tsong-kha-pa says that when a yogi realizes the selflessness of person, the wisdom observing the selflessness of the person is not looking at the five aggregates. No. Oh, very good. That particular mind understands only the self or person to be not inherently existent. That's what it's focusing on at that time, at the point of equipoise, etc. It does not realize anything else, such as understanding the selflessness of the aggregates. However, this realization of the selflessness of person can be used at any later moment to cut the deluded grasping at the self of phenomena. You have the tool. We turn the understanding of the selflessness of the person to the aggregates and investigate them in the same way. By the power of the earlier understanding of the emptiness of the self of persons, any misconception concerning the way in which the aggregates exist are swept away. Bravo. By an unusual destiny in the blue sea of August. No. We will naturally understand the aggregates to be empty of inherent existence. So you have that ability. And then you start investigating, oh yes, same thing. And you understand the aggregates are not inherently existent. Okay. Certain monastic textbooks, and we read them all here, add that as long as someone holds the philosophical view that the aggregates exist inherently, he or she cannot understand the selflessness of person. I see. We may have lost Darren, what's the problem? Oh, Vivian Westwood and Barbara Walters. Yeah, okay, I got that. Thanks. I thought maybe we lost transmission. Thanks, Darren. I got it. This is a big point now. Page 65. Certain monastic textbooks add that as long as someone holds the philosophical view that the aggregates exist inherently, he or she cannot understand the selflessness of persons. Here we must distinguish between being held by a person and being held by a mind. Let's see. Even if someone knows intellectually that the self does not exist inherently, oh, there's the trick. He knows, or she knows, and he or she may still have innate minds that grasp the self to be inherently existent. We all know that things are impermanent. Yeah, they're impermanent, but we have innate minds that don't really hold that because we go about our business thinking everything's always going to be there. Think about it. Yeah. I mean, I do that. Maybe you don't. Maybe, yeah, good for you. Brava. So that's what he's saying. Held by a person, held by a mind, even if someone knows intellectually that the self does not exist inherently, he or she may still have innate minds that grasp at the self to be inherently existent. Big point in your practice. You know, you read, oh yeah, I know, that's exactly right. But then you need meditation to go after that deep down innate mind that's sending up the wrong signal all the time about reality. So that's what they're getting at here. The wrong view that grasps an inherently existent self has two aspects: contrived grasping and innate grasping. Contrived or intellectually acquired grasping arises independent on philosophical views or faulty reasoning. Most people do not have any contrived self-grasping views at all because they simply don't think about philosophical matters. Ask people on the subway, hey guys, are you, no, most people don't, the average person, Only a person who holds a wrong philosophical view will consciously think that things are inherently existent. We think it innately and we go about our business that way. That's the way we see things even. But we don't hold a philosophical view that things are inherently existent, don't tell me. So, yet even when such a person has rejected that wrong view and explicitly understood that things are not inherently existent, she will still have innate self-grasping minds that are arising naturally within her mental continuum by the force of habit from billions of trillions of years ago. That's the problem. So that's us too. That's why the constant repetitive meditation, get down to those familiar with the topic deeper and deeper and with a clearer and clearer mind, so that you wipe out those inherent wrong views deep down. That's why you may want to do something that's nice, but you can't, somehow you have obstructions, etc. They're coming from within. And that's why meditation is necessary. That's what they say. The innate self-grasping view is not intellectually contrived. It is a mind that naturally grasps at the self and at the aggregates as inherently existent. The innate one, not intellectually added on. It's always been there. This is not easy to eliminate, even after having developed the correct philosophical view, which is an understanding that the self does not exist inherently. Animals have it. Excuse me. Let me check the time. Okay, we got 15. We got 5 minutes. To completely eliminate intellectually acquired self-grasping views, a person must gain a direct realization of selflessness by repeated meditation on a correct understanding of emptiness. How does it turn from conceptual understanding into actual realization? Repeated meditation until that intellectual conceptual understanding bursts and the real thing comes up. It comes to you. You might say it that way. That's, I like the New Age folks. It comes to you, man. But that's what happens. So, only through this direct realization does such a person see that there is no inherently existent self and really see. At this point, she attains the path of seeing and thereby eliminates the contrived self-grasping from her mental continuum. Contrived is gone then totally. That person no longer consciously thinks that the self is inherently existent. When the person understands the self to be empty of inherent existence, then she ceases to hold a similar wrong philosophical view regarding the aggregates as well. However, but wait, there's a catch, the disclaimer. However, even on the path of seeing, the innate grasping at a self or at the aggregates remains within the mental continuum. It's got to be gradually eaten away. And the emptiness realization, the innate, gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and that's why you have levels of bhumis, for bodhisattvas. Although this person does not hold an inherently existed self to exist, she may have some minds arising that hold an inherently existed self to exist, might have some minds that hold it. But the fact that this person has innate self-grasping views arising within her mental continuum does not necessarily mean that this person is holding the self to be inherently existent. On the surface, they know, and the contrived is totally out. Now they work on the deep down minds, the subtler minds. Maybe we can call them that, the subtler minds. We can interpret Nagarjuna's above statement as follows. As long as we grasp the aggregates as inherently existent due to holding a particular wrong tenet or philosophical view, then we have no direct understanding of the selflessness of person. No direct understanding of the selflessness of persons. Once we have understood the selflessness of persons directly, then we cease to hold this contrived wrong view regarding the aggregates or the self. Bka.pdf clarifies this as follows. Giving that belonging to self is expressed in accordance with some notion of self, and that self does not even exist, then, if it does not exist, how could it be correct to say, this belongs to it? It doesn't exist, so how could it have something belonging to the aggregates? Big point. So, and here we go with the son of the barren woman. The daughter of the barren woman. Let's get after her too. Throw them out. For example, the mind that understands that the son of a barren woman does not exist does not explicitly think that this child's eyes and ears do not exist. Yet through the particular mind that understands that the son of a barren woman does not exist, the person will also be able to spell any misapprehension that his eyes, ears, and so on, his Lamborghini, exist. All right? Similarly, when a person understands that the self does not inherently exist, The grasping at the self's eyes and so on will be dispelled. Self's aggregates. Remember, this refers to the contrived grasping. He's banging this point home, and it's important. That is based on false reasoning. The subtle innate grasping is still not dispelled. Not so easy, Moskowitz, not so fast, but it has to be worked on. They say that it's a very big feeling, just that first level path of seeing, joyful, etc. The Bodhisattva ground is called joyful. There's a hint on a level too, but it's a big thing. So some Buddhist philosophical schools assert that functional things are truly existent. He's getting into the weeds now of tenets. Traditionally, these tenet holders, whether Vaibhashikas, Sautrantika, or Yogacara, are called proponents of true existence. For simplicity, we call them realists. They group things in, so when they argue back and forth from now on in this text, realists. The realists do this, but the Rasangas, they do this. As Buddhists, they assert the selflessness of persons. However, from their perspective, selflessness does not mean lack of inherent existence. The word is the same, carries a different meaning. Here's where it gets tricky, and you got to be really alert. For realist tenet holders, selflessness means that there is no self-supporting, substantially existent self. And now we are welcome to the nerd world of Buddhist tenets. Please have a seat and take out number 2 pencils and your slide rule. No, so we'll leave it there. We'll continue this next week, next Wednesday. So for whom will we pray? Darren has sent me another message. Vivian Westwood, I got that. Danny Paley and Vera Grun. Grun. Okay, so who else do we have listed here? Let's see. Mark, good evening. Charlie. Hi, Charlie. Happy New Year. Happy Year. Vivian West, we got that, okay. Danny Pally for the rest. So we got that, Jane. Thank you. Bulla Bulla, Radna. Happy New Year. Vera Grun, we got that. Okay. Oh, good morning, Kuala Lumpur. Hi, Wikiat. How are you? Bill Kamen is here. Okay. Lori Rankin. Lori is still on our hearts. Daily. Ingrid Hartanto. Okay, so we got a whole bunch. I don't know what else is on that screen. My screen is smaller. But let me grab the prayer and continue on. We're always under the gun of time in this life, huh? Whether we like it or not. I prostrate to the omniscient one. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans, is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He's completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He's completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavat who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The Holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavad, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Yana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to their disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. What a variety of beings, all in the same situation. Our former mothers, future mothers. The wheel turns and turns and turns. Prayer for the flourishing of J. Tsong-kha-pa's teaching, recommended by His Holiness as a further cause for the quick return of Rato Chungla Rinpoche. Though he's the father, producer of all conquerors, as a conqueror's son, he produced the thought of upholding the conqueror's Dharma in infinite worlds. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Whenever you are in the presence of Buddha Indraketu, he made his vow. The conqueror and his offspring praised his powerful courage. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. That the lineage of pure view and conduct might spread, he offered a white crystal rosary to the sage, who gave him a conch and prophesied. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. His pure view free of eternity or destruction, his pure meditation cleansed of dark fading and fog, his pure conduct practiced according to the conqueror's orders, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Learned, since he extensively sought out learning, reverent, rightly applying it to himself, good, dedicating all for beings and the doctrine, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Through being sure that all scriptures, definitive and interpretive, were without contradiction, advice for one person's practice, he stopped all misconduct. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Listening to explanation of the three Pitakas, realized teachings, practiced of the three trainings, his skilled and accomplished life story is amazing. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Outwardly calmed and subdued by the hearer's conduct, inwardly trusting in the two stages practiced, he allied without clash the good paths of Sutra and Tantra. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Combining voidness explained as the causal vehicle, with great bliss achieved by method, the effect vehicle, heart essence of 80,000 Dharma bundles, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. By the power of the ocean of oath-bound doctrine protectors, like the main guardians of the three beings' paths, the quick-acting Lord, Vaishravana, Karma-yama, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. In short, by the lasting of glorious gurus' lives, by the earth being full of good, learned, reverent holders of the teaching, and by the increase of power of its patrons, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. 8 verses on training the mind, the Lojong text. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions, I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings, and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices. undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. A couple of things to mention. His Holiness's talks, they're archived. The talks he gave in the last 3 days in Bodhi Gaya, excellent. You don't have to watch the long life ceremony. It's kind of long. I hope I have a life as long as that ceremony. But especially if you're a Tara practitioner, he went through all the 21 Taras very nicely. Our next class, of course, will be 7 o'clock on the 4th, January 4th. The life of Milarepa I'm going to refer to from time to time, since we always, and get some background on what brought him to the point of this poetry. He actually surpassed his teacher, they say. He surpassed Marpa's abilities. So very interesting how we got there. This is like an HBO special examining behind the scenes of the great star. Anyway, we can burlesque it as much as we want. But this book is very rich. I recommend it. Very, very accurate, very easy to read. So there's so much. You'll find something you like among the whole Library of Tibetan stuff in English now. It's a treasure. Anyway, thank you for your kind, patient listening. Big love to all of you.